Let's try another example. Round the number 641 to the nearest 10. Step number 1, put your pencil point under the digit in the tens place and look to the right. Well, the tens place is represented by 4, which represents 40. And now look to the right. To the right brings us to our 1. Is this 1 5 or more? The answer to that is no, it's not. It's less than 5. So then, as a result, what happens to the digit in the tens place? Does it increase by 1 or does it stay the same? Well, because 1 is not 5 or more, it will stay the same. And now let's look at the next one. What happens to everything to the left of the tens place? Those digits will always stay the same. So we are going to have 640 as 641 rounded to the nearest 10. Let's practice rounding to the nearest tens. We'll start with the number 273. The first part is to take your pencil tip and put it below the place we're rounding to, which is the nearest tens, and the 7 is in that column. And then we're going to underline or look at the number directly to the right of it, or in the ones column, which is a 3. Is a 3 a number 5 or more? No, it's not. So we're going to keep the 7 the same and place the remaining numbers to the left down next to it, again keeping it the same. And then the number now in the ones column after we've rounded is replaced with a 0. So the number 273 rounds to 270. Now let's look at the next one, 544. Again, place the pencil tip directly below the number in the tens column, which is a 4, and look at the number directly to the right of it, which is also a 4. Is a 4 5 or more? No, it's not. So it's going to keep the 4 in the tens column the same, and then we drop down all numbers to the left of that column, and we're going to replace the ones column number by a 0. So 544 rounded to the nearest tens is 540. Now let's look at the next problem. Again, let's put our pencil directly below the number in the tens column, which is a 1, and we'll underline the number that is in the ones column, which is an 8. Is 8 5 or more? Yes, it is. So it's going to increase the number in the tens column by 1, making it a 2. And again, we're going to drop down the numbers directly to the left of that, so it's a 9. And then the number in the ones column is replaced by a 0. So the number 918, when rounded to the nearest tens, rounds to 920. Now let's look at the next problem. We have 1,236. Step number 1, again, is to put your pencil tip directly below the number in the tens column, which is a 3, and underline the number directly to the right of it, or in the ones column in our case. Is 6 5 or more? Yes, it is. So it's going to round this 3 up to a 4. We're going to drop down the 2 numbers directly to the left of that. So we have 1,240. We're going to replace the number in the ones column by a 0. So 1,236 rounded to the nearest tens is 1,240. Now let's look at the next problem. Again, place your pencil directly underneath the number in the tens column and underline the number in the column directly to the right of that, which is a 2. Is 2 5 or more? No, it's not. So we're going to keep this 4 in the tens column the same and drop down the numbers directly to the left of that, which are a 5 and a 4, and we're going to replace the 2 by a 0. This makes 4,542 round to 4,540. Now our last problem that we have on this slide is 7,335. Again, place the pencil tip directly below the tens column, and we're going to look at the number directly to the right of it, which is a 5. Is this number in the ones column 5 or more? Yes, it is. So it's going to round the 3 in the tens column up to a 4. Again, drop down the other numbers that are directly to the left of it, and then replace the remaining numbers to the right with a 0. So 7,335 rounds to 7,340. Round the number 8,702 to the nearest hundred. First step is to put the pencil point under the digit in the hundreds place and look to the right of it. And to the right of that is a 0. Is the digit 5 or more? 0 is not more than 5 or equal to 5. So then what happens to the digit in the hundreds place? Does it increase by 1 or does it remain the same? It remains the same since this 0 does not round the 7 up to an 8. What happens to everything to the left of the hundreds place? Those digits are always going to remain the same. So therefore we still have the 8 that exists there. Since the 7 did not round up, it also remains the same. And then the remaining digits to the right both become zeros. So 8,702 rounded to the nearest hundred is 8,700. Round the number 15,821 to the nearest thousand. Start by putting your pencil under the digit in the thousands place and then look to the right. That number to the right is an 8. Is this digit 5 or more? This time the answer here is yes, it is 5 or more. So then what happens to the digit in the thousands place? Does it increase by 1 or does it remain the same? Well, because 8 is 5 or more, it increases the thousands place digit by 1. And then what happens to everything to the left of the thousands place? Those digits will always remain the same. So we still have a 1 in the 10,000s place, but then because this 5 increases by 1, it becomes a 6. And then the remaining digits to the right become zeros. This makes 15,821, when rounded to the nearest thousand, be equal to 16,000. Round the number 74,891 to the nearest 10,000. First step, put your pencil point under the digit in the 10,000s place and look to the right. Well, we have the pencil in that column, and now let's look to the right. To the right of that is a 4. Is this digit, the 4, 5 or more? The answer there is no. What happens to the digit then in the 10,000s place? Does it increase by 1 or remain the same? Well, because 4 is less than 5, the 7 will remain the same. What happens to everything to the left of the 10,000s place? Well, those digits are all going to remain the same. And there's actually nothing else to the left of that digit. So we have the 7 because it remains the same. And then all of the digits to the right will become zeros. So 74,891 rounded to the nearest 10,000 is 70,000.